diplomats would take the lead, not the military. However, if the aliens were less like the peace and love kind from Contact and more like the lasers and death kind from Independence Day, then the military would get a crack at them. Despite what you might expect, the Air Force, or Trump's Space Force, wouldn't likely be in charge of the counteroffensive. Because most of the Earth is water and they have aircraft carriers across the world, the US Navy are the force most experts believe would have to save the day. To be honest though, it's largely academic. Any intelligence competent enough to reach us from light years away without us knowing would likely have the tech to obliterate us in seconds anyway. Number 6. Zombies. If the undead do rise, I'll be in trouble. After all, only 11% of Brits have a zombie apocalypse plan. And the furthest the UK government has gone into making a strategy is let gamers and The Walking Dead fans sort it out. For our American audience though, you're in a much better situation. And not for the reason you think. In 2011, the Pentagon released documentation from training exercises known as CONOP 8888. The documents spell out the US's defense strategy in case a disease that zombified citizens started spreading throughout the nation. The plans broadly involve building up temporary safe points across the country, while putting blockades at zombie-heavy choke points. Also, all communications between military posts would be uncoded, since zombies can't understand language, and any survivors might intercept the messages and navigate to a safe point. Now, to be fair, this was a training exercise for military students to learn the basics of urban warfare, but still it has a lot of useful ideas within it that could definitely be applied in a real-life outbreak. Number 5. Solar flare. A solar flare, or a coronal mass ejection, is basically when the sun decides it hates us. It then bathes the entire planet in a wave of solar energy. And according to a paper in the Astrophysical Journal, we're overdue for one. The blast would create a sudden power surge, one strong enough to overwhelm the world's electronics and wipe out all power grids, devices, and even the internet. I think we had a video on something like that happening. Taking out our entire power system would fundamentally change the world, leading to mass rioting and starvation as food chains around the world were disrupted. Especially since experts believe the power could stay out for as long as 2 years. In America, this threat is taken so seriously that there are as many as 27 government programs looking for solutions. Most of these are preventative, with the Department of Energy hoping to redesign the nation's energy generators to be able to withstand sudden power surges. If this disaster did happen, the Department of Homeland Security also has plans. They've developed localized mobile power generators which could travel to various parts of the US, restoring power to different regions. Here's a question though, if all power was wiped out on Earth, what's the first thing you would do? Let us know in the comments down below if there's still power and you can access your device. Number 4. Cybergeddon. It may not be as dramatic as tanks rolling over the hills or nations flinging missiles at each other, but the future of warfare is cyber, and it could be potentially far more deadly than conventional combat. Almost everything in our modern world is susceptible to being hacked. Rogue states or terror groups could definitely breach the security of nuclear power plants, for example, and cause them to melt down. Or hack into nuclear weapons stockpiles and fire them. So I guess I was wrong, it literally is as dramatic as nations flinging missiles at each other. In order to combat this threat, the Pentagon has assembled a crack team of super hackers to build their defenses. It's like the Expendables, except with more glasses and carpal tunnel. What's more, the Trump White House released the US's first cybersecurity plan in 16 years, a sign the administration is taking the threat more seriously than previous governments. And it's not just offensive. The US has likely already been involved in cyber warfare against Iran and may even have remotely shut down a missile test by North Korea. Number 3. AI takeover. At the moment, the most likely way a robot will ruin your life is by taking your job. But is there a government response planned in case the robots decide they don't like working the griddle at McDonald's either and just Terminator 2 us out of existence? Well, kinda. In 2018, the US House of Representatives invited in a panel of AI experts to quiz them on the potential dangers of it. And the plan at the moment just seems to be to try and harness it before anyone else does. Both the US and China have plans to become the world leader in AI, both believing themselves to be the more responsible stewards of such dangerous technology. Currently, the main opposition to AI has come from scientists and private institutions. Elon Musk, for instance, has invested $1 billion into researching and combating its various threats. Number 2. Bioterror attack. With recent innovations in gene editing and the internet allowing for formulae and recipes to be shared instantly, more and more rogue groups are capable of creating a bioterror weapon. That should be a real worry because a well-designed biological pathogen would be extremely difficult to fight. What's more, the population under attack would become part of the weapon itself, carrying the disease and spreading it further and further. There is a safeguard in place though. In 2018, the Washington Post took a break from attacking YouTubers and was treated to a rare peek inside the US's secret stockpile of emergency medicine. Hidden at a secret location in Washington, D.C., there's a building with $7 billion worth of medicines, ranging from vaccines to antivirals and, yes, antibiotics. If a biological attack occurs, the local police, National Guard, or even the army would have to quarantine the area. Then the appropriate medicine would be flown to the city and distributed as swiftly as possible. Number 1. Nuclear war. Yeah, I'm sure you could guess that this one was coming. While most of the entries on this list are natural, this one is entirely man-made. So obviously there are plenty of plans in place for if someone does decide to trigger mutually assured destruction. The US has underground bunkers capable of holding up to 1,000 government officials. Because even if all that's left of government is a Fallout-style hellscape of mutants and raiders, we can't do that without bureaucracy. America also has a series of specially designed planes for transporting the president and other top officials to the bunkers. Each plane costs $350 million and is designed to be resistant to the electromagnetic pulse that accompanies a nuclear blast. That means everything on board is analog. The plane can also refuel in mid-air, so it doesn't have to land if that's more dangerous. And that's better than Britain's Cold War plan. Apparently, our top priority in case of a nuclear attack was to save the Queen. Love you, Liz, but I'm sure there are other things that are probably more important. So that was 10 apocalypses the government is preparing for. Is there a doomsday scenario that we've missed out here? Let me know in the comments down below. Also give this video a like and subscribe to All Time 10s if you haven't done so already. Also click on the bell there so YouTube can let you know once we made our videos. Speaking of which, there's one up there now. I'll see you there.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. And the year 6009 will be the very first year since 1961 that a year, when written in Hindu-Arabic numerals, can be inverted and still look the same. But you and I probably won't live long enough to enjoy the year 6009. Human lives just aren't long enough. We will miss out on that. What other cool future events will we be missing? Well, first of all, you and I will probably be gone before the completion of the Time Pyramid in Winding, Germany. It will eventually be a pile of 120 concrete blocks, but the builders are only adding one block every 10 years. Since beginning in 1993, they've added only the first 3.